We join us here on Clarets Player ahead of the Lancashire Derby with Martin Dobson, who's about to watch for the first time some cine footage we've received of the club of that great day in 1973 when we won the title at Deepdale. So Martin, give us your thoughts on this amazing day.
Sun was shining, pitch wasn't in great nick, and I remember that. And but I think the pressure was off, Darren, to be fair, because we'd already got into the top division. Taffy, Billy Ingham, or Billy has signed as Frank here.
Isn't this before the game, presumably? You've been on pitch just for a warm up before
right. Just have a look. Well, not a warm, but just have a look at the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. You never went on the pitch.
Look at that. Is that you there? That's your brown suit.
That's mine. The old brown. Yeah. Well, look at that. And the hairstyles are a bit different as well, aren't they? Look at that.
We still got that.
A bit more bonnet on there.
That's Keith Newton, of course.
Yeah, what a great player Keith was. Class. He came in at the start of that season, of course, and really lifted the side in every area. Do
you remember these moments before the game?
No, I must admit. I remember walking out there, and to be fair to the Preston players, they lined up to applaud us onto the field because, of course, we'd already got back into the top division by then.
That must be one of your highlights, surely, walking out there that day with the Preston fans and a full house cheering you out as champions, or as promoted team, I should say.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was a long season, but it was very enjoyable because we felt right throughout we had something special, and I think it started, to be fair, Daz, the season before, because we won the last 6 games of the season, the previous season. So we knew that there was something special going on within the football club then. Jimmy Adamson, of course, was manager. And at the start of the season, Keith Newton came to the football club on a free transfer from Everton. So his experience, with the likes of Dave Thomas initially, just in front of him, and then Leighton James took his position. So that experience and the blend of youth and experience and excellent players coming to the top of their form as well. And it seems incredible now. We're talking about 40 players playing, whatever games. We had to play 42 games. I know it's 46 games at the moment. But the majority of players, I think we only played 13 players right through the season. So the majority of that team played at least 39, 40 games. And so we had a terrific team spirit, a bonding. I mean, Jimmy Adamson, as we mentioned so many times before, the 1970, team of the 70s. He became the manager at that time after doing wonders as a skipper for the club and also a coach. But we had a few injuries at the start of that season. We were relegated. And Bob Lloyd, to be fair, he's got his critics as well as people who think he's done wonderfully well for the football club as chairman. But he stood by the manager at that time. Easily could have gone then.
Yeah.
And because I think there was some dissent on the terraces at that time. He's a great coach, but he's a better manager. Stuck by him, and within 2 years we had a wonderful season. We're back in the top division, and even now, he didn't take anything for granted, did Jim? Because he was. He's up there now. He's my mentor, of course, 80 odd years of age, and he was the captain of the club when maybe they felt they should have won the championship in '62 as captain. But it slipped, and I think, was it about 10 or 11 points, and Ipswich did him on the line. So during that season when he was manager, Jimmy always kept our feet on the ground and saying, we've won the game today, right, we move on to the next one. And even now, when you look back, I talk to all the players now, and it was a wonderful time for us. But we don't realise how good it was at that time because you're working hard.
Of course, yeah.
You want to win the games, you want to play well, and also, but then you think, right, put that one aside, we're looking for the next one. We want to get out of this division. So it's only when you can reflect, and in an instance like this, the Preston game, it came to fruition on the last game of the season.
And how does it feel? I know your memories of the day aren't that great, I guess, in some respects, but you're the captain of the side, leading the team out, and Preston have formed a guard of honour there.
Yeah.
Those are great days.
Absolutely fantastic. I've just seen a black and white photograph of that, and of course there's no video camera there, but it's very nostalgic. Of course, I was pleased as punch. It was a great privilege for me to be captain of this football club at that time. I became captain at 21, 22 years of age or whatever it was, and that was. I'm thinking, wow, there's experienced players, international players in the side at that time, and they've asked me to be captain. And I'm thinking, oh, wow, can I take that responsibility? But I grew in it, I enjoyed it. We were playing with players who we could trust as well on the field, good players. But when we came to that game against Preston, we're thinking, well, we've done all the hard work. We've got back into the top division, which was our goal at the start of the season. But come on, we want to be champions. We want to be the best team in that division. We knew if we got a point, then that was good enough. The funny thing, of course, Preston were on the other extremes. They were fighting against relegation, and they needed a point to stay up. But we weren't thinking about that through the game. I mean, people said before, but we were looking, like we've done in every single game, to win the game. To win the game. That's all we wanted to do, and then we're going to be champions. We know that.
Did you know about this before you came out, the Preston players with this guard of honour?
Well, I was only told by Jimmy 10 minutes before the game started, and he said, well, Preston have asked that, you know, they want to do that. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Now, whether it's a bit of, I don't know, were they hoping to...
Kidology there, a bit of friendship, yeah.
Friendship, you know, there's always rivalry, isn't there?
Can we have a point, please?
Yeah. And we never thought about, oh, well, that's very nice. And I didn't think about it. I just thought that it was their recognition that we've got back in the top division, and thanks very much, and they get on the game. But we knew there was no quarters asked or given as soon as the whistle went for the kick-off.
So you run out at Deepdale in front of this huge crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, and the atmosphere was tremendous, of course. I don't know how many I mean, in those days, Darren, as well, of course, Burnley supporters all around the ground, weren't there?
And on the pitch as well, looking at it.
On the pitch, yeah. And they said, I don't know, before the game or after the game or whatever, but the atmosphere was electric as well. And we felt, right through the game, we're in control, and yet they scored the first goal, didn't they?
Sure. And then Colin Waldron goes down in folklore.
Yep.
And here we are, the lads coming off at the end of the game as champions.
As champions, and
there you are, leading them off.
We don't look right happy there, do we? Maybe we just accepted it, or are we disappointed that we didn't win the game? I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it was a great feeling in the dressing room, and the atmosphere there. And
you were telling me that before you went up on the balcony, and we'll see the balcony shots in a second. You're in the dressing room. There's a lovely picture I know of you and the team with the trophy. But it ain't the trophy.
It's not the trophy. It's not the actual trophy for winning the old second division, which I think now is for the championship trophy. But it was Colin Waldron, I think, produced an old golf trophy that he tucked away in his overnight bag and produced it when we were in the dressing room. And so he had it up there, and everybody thought that was. No, it's a golf trophy, but it was a lovely moment for Waldo, and of course with him scoring the goal as well. I mean, I'm not quite sure because there's nothing on the video footage about how far he was off. You know, when he scored the goal,
it gets further. Every time I speak to him, he gets further out.
Well, that's right. It's on the halfway line now, isn't it? A 50-yarder or whatever, and he smacks it. But it must have been at least 22 to 25 yards out, and he's hit it. And the funny thing is, I'm not quite sure, did he hit it with his left or his right? I'm not quite sure. But during that spell, because we were a great team for keeping possession of the ball, we knocked it about, two-touch football, control the ball, pass and move. And when Waldo comes forward and he's got the ball, I think, Waldo, pass it. It's like anything, pass it. And then he hits it, and think, what's he doing? Boom.
Great goal.
Well done, Waldo. Fantastic.
So let me get this right. You're celebrating promotion by drinking champagne out of a golf trophy.
I think that was it. Or a flat beer, I'm not quite sure, or orange juice or whatever. I'm not quite sure whether they managed to let us do anything like that. I know we went back to the turf, and the chairman was there, invited us into the boardroom. I think that was the first time any of us had been in the boardroom.
And before that, of course, you had the celebrations. I mean, the lads have been mobbed here on the way off the pitch.
Yes.
The fans all over the pitch, as you'd expect, as they still are these days.
Yes, yeah. And it couldn't have been any better, Dan, to be fair. As we talked about Preston, they got the point, so they stayed in the division. We were promoted as champions to the top division as well. So as you say, it's a win-win situation for everybody. And people thought there was a bit of skullduggery going on, that as soon as the equaliser went in, there was a standoff and everybody's not tackling anybody, and the ball's round their halfway line. But there was nothing like that at all, apart from Frank Casper mentioned something to me 5 minutes from the end of the game. And we were doing something in the corner. We could keep possession for fun. And I said to Taffy or somebody, "Hey Taffy, whip it in, And then Frank came over to me 5 minutes, 5 minutes from then, Dumbo, we've got a point. We can. So you your mentality changes then.
Yeah.
It was only a few minutes from the end of the game. And I've talked this with all the other players on the field, and I said, did you realise, we only need a point and they were sorted, everybody's happy. Nobody did in our team. Nobody.
You'd be investigated by FIFA nowadays.
I think we would do. I think we would do. Yeah.
I think we saw a shot of Bob Lord there, just in the top of the stand, waving to the crowd. And I know the players make a brief appearance. The footage at this stage isn't that great. It's a little bit in the shade.
Yeah.
But I mean, the crowd by this stage has just invaded the pitch.
Yes. Yeah, wonderful scenes. We went, as you say, went back in the dressing room, and then we were invited up. Well, I think the fans are demanding that we go up, and
it's etiquette. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And on a rival's ground as well. It's not bad.
No, it was terrific, and fans from both clubs saluted their players as well later on, and we acknowledged them because we had terrific support right through the season.
And in closing, Martin, how good is it to see that footage?
Well, it brings back memories. I mean, it's funny when we all get together now, boys, and sadly Keith's no longer with us, or Billy Ingham, but the lads, when they get together, we realise what a very, very special football club this is, and how we were so lucky to be there at that particular time. And of course, being the captain of the side, it was just absolutely terrific for me.
History's there for the making again. Thanks for joining us, Martin.